This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are looking to expand your business by adding new brands or launching a new service, but you're not sure how to build up your team that will support you in this achievement, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us how to build the systems that he's using to build his team and manage multiple Amazon brands at the same time. I'm here with Mike Michelini, an American social media, e-commerce, and SEO specialist that has lived in China since late 2007. He's a passionate business connector that helps companies do business in China as well as Chinese companies to work in overseas markets. He built the cross-border e-commerce community globalfromasia.com. GFA is a platform to help cross-border businesses owners learn, network, make business partnership, and grow global businesses. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Gianmarco.
This is the first time we're recording a live podcast with the Seller Process.
I love
so
it.
I'm so really excited about this. It's kind of weird for me also because it's the first time to do it live. But we're together, me and Mike in Chiang Mai. If you're watching this video from YouTube, you will see us together for the first time. Usually we're on Zoom, but if you're just listening, just know that we're both in Chiang Mai in a rainy Tuesday in a co-working space together.
Exactly, it's great, man.
So, Mike, we're going to talk today about how did you create your team, how you are managing your several Amazon businesses plus other like event organization business, right? I want to learn more about that. So before we kick off, just give us a quick picture on how what you're doing, how many brands are you managing? So then I'm curious, to go further and discuss about your system.
Sure. So thanks again for having me. As you know, a great introduction. I feel like you did most of my work. Basically, I'm selling on. It started eBay 07, and there's been ups and downs. There's been, I don't hide this failures. I don't hide this success. Built and sold multiple brands. I'm doing 4 brands right now on Amazon, and there's very complex actually. Probably should get Snook here. She's hanging out with me. She's helping with one of the brands, but I think it's becoming more like delegating and team building, and almost I feel like coaching my own team. I don't know. I can't wait to share. But basically, managing 4 brands, and as you said, I do events and community. What I love to do, meetups. Even on this rainy afternoon, we had a little meetup, and just but yeah, 4 brands, mostly Amazon websites as well. Brand registry, various partners, and a team of about 15, I'd say, but of course not. I can't say all full time, but different kinds of skills and roles, and then of course do the events and the content and the community.
Wow, cool. I'm very curious to know what these 15 people are doing. So, just to as my first question is because many e-commerce sellers are solopreneur. They at least start as solopreneurs, right? So maybe many of our listeners now are solopreneurs. Like what is your suggestions to them? How they should at what point should they consider start looking for a new team member, and what role should they hire for? Like, what is your advice to them?
Sure. I think before they even think about hiring, they think about what do they want? Do they want a job or do they want a business, right? Or it's a lot about mindset. Even we had some fun little conversations before this recording with some people here, and they maybe they've, a lot of people have had not success. They've tried hiring people and they failed, myself included. I failed multiple times. I'm not some bullshitter that says never had a problem. And then they kind of almost give up. They just do it themselves. They say it didn't work. I couldn't find the right person. They didn't know what I was doing. They blame that person. Usually it's your fault. But I think first decide, do you want to hire people? A lot of people don't want to manage people. They don't want to hire people. Some people build it by themselves to a level and then sell it. You know, there was a lot of these eBay or Amazon flippers. They would go to like Empire Flippers or build it by themselves, sell it. But I mean, obviously that's not what I want to do. But I don't recommend doing that. But do you want to hire? And I try to hire from the very beginning personally. But of course, it depends how much budget you have, because of course you have to pay that person. So if you don't have a budget, I guess you got to do it yourself. But I don't like to learn and do everything myself. I used to, but I can't learn and do everything, you know?
Of course.
So I think it depends on your budget, your future plans. I don't want to say it depends, but I hope I'm giving some answers. You know, but I would recommend getting somebody right from day one. The first person to probably hire is somebody's going to be your manager of your team. So you hire, like, sometimes they call it like a GVA, a general virtual assistant, kind of like a generalist that knows, like, more like, you can say like a VA, but we say general VA because they know, they were kind of trained on doing all the major kinds of social media, email management, project management, and almost telling them that you're going to be first hire, but you are going to be hiring and managing others. You try to almost get them to be ready to be a manager, and they're involved with the new people you hire.
Okay, that's interesting. I think actually it kind of reflects also my experience. I would say I second your suggestion, because in the beginning you would probably look for like a generalist, right? Yeah. So because maybe you don't have as much budget to hire multiple people, so just go with one that can do a lot of things and take off your plate a lot of tasks, right? And then you move on hiring more and more specialists after some point. So I think obviously it's critical to hire, the right people, like so-called A players, right? Yeah. Everybody's looking for A players. Apparently, there is kind of a statistics that there is maybe just 1% or less than 1% are A players. So everybody's looking for those A players, but they're very few. So, so what are your tips to identify? And how do we find them? Maybe like, let's give people like some specific, practical tips. And how do we identify them once we have them in front of us? Because usually maybe when we do a job posting, we receive lots of results, right? So how do we identify the right one?
There's a lot there, and I have a lot to say. It's like overwhelming. For hiring, maybe start with hiring, but the A players I have a great answer for. But the hiring, you probably know the Easter egg. Do you know the Easter egg? I call it, I don't know at least I learned it as the Easter egg. Easter egg is where you
Easter. Okay.
Easter, like the bunny rabbit in the home. I don't know where it even came from, but it's basically you hide a little Easter egg in your job post, like a keyword. Like a keyword. Like I'll write a normal job description, but in the middle I'll say, just to make sure you read this at the beginning of your application letter, put keyword I love SEO 1, 2, 3.
Right. Yeah, I've done it. Okay. I didn't know the name.
I don't know this keyword. I call it Easter egg, but you kind of put a little plant in there, and it still works. I have been doing this for 10 years, man, and it still works. 50% off the top.
Right.
I don't even look at them. I don't even look at that 50%.
Right.
Because they didn't read the job post. Half of them are mass applying.
Right.
They're just trying to get any job. So that's my first tip. And my second tip is I have this standard template at the bottom of my job post that says about our company. And I write about, I use my name. I say, hi, I'm Mike Michelini. I'm an internet marketing expert, in China and overseas. It's just like what you kind of read off. And I say, we've been doing this for a long time. We have people all around the world. We work online. And then I write about our company values, which is the key slot. So I say our values are self-learning, SL, working online, O, and then T, slot, teamwork. If you're not willing or able to be in these 3 core values, you're not going to work in our company. Don't apply. And I said the most important is the T, the teamwork. And maybe that'll lead me back into the A player. I actually feel like I fired A players because they didn't use the T, the teamwork. I've sacrificed so hard to try to accommodate to an A player, like a good sales or a good designer, a good developer, good, like you were saying, like a good specialist. But then they're too good to talk to the other people. They're too good to fill out the report. And it sucks. And I used to make the mistake by trying to accommodate to these people, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Or they only talk to me because I'm the boss. They don't talk to the the GVA, my manager. They're like, oh, she's below me. I'm so good. They're like these cocky people that are really good.
Right.
So those people can't work, at least in our culture. So I kind of gave 3 answers. I don't know if you want to dig on those. I kind of jumped from the job post. But basically, it's like half off the top. I don't even look at their application because they didn't put the Easter egg.
Right.
And then the others, I'm kind of trying to look into their abilities. And then I try to almost understand if they are really reading what I'm hiring for. Because they might put the Easter egg, but then they just paste their standard letter.
Right.
I want them to actually write why they think, and they stick out. They stick out. They say like, oh, I really like this. And I can tell that they're writing me like a custom response based on what I've posted.
Okay.
And then some like Christian, he's one of our best. And and a lot of them, they look me up online because sorry, Snook is here with me. I'm talking. But some of our best team members, they search my name. They search our company. They look it up. They watch my videos. They watch these podcasts. They watch my video blogs. They read my social media. They read about our web company. I mean, and they kind of, it's not that I picked them, they picked me. Because I think that they know they're good, but they want to work for companies that they want to work for. And they know that everybody would want to hire them. But I've gone to interviews and they know me. They've watched my videos. They've read about our website. These are the people I want to hire. And then of course, it's hard to tell about teamwork from a call, from an interview or a discussion, but then we start to see if they fit the values.
Right. Okay, and it's mostly done through like you reviewing, their experience and what they write to you. Like, so you see if they have done some research about you, right? Yeah. So that's how you judge if they fit into the culture and the values.
So, I mean, I don't want to sound like cocky or something, but I have HR now that does the first round.
Right.
I do second or third round for the online jobs. So Nessa, she's great. Actually, I didn't have HR for the longest time, but I actually highly recommend HR. It's so great. But so she's doing the first round, and I taught her about the Easter eggs, and she's also saying half the people don't read this. So I kind of taught her how to do this. But yeah, if I was doing it myself, that's what I would do. But now I go to the second or third round, and then I get to actually get even more because she interviews them first.
Right.
She filters based on what I taught her.
Yeah.
And she's always shocked. It still works to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she writes notes about them. She'll do an interview with them. And then she knows our company values. She knows who we're looking for. Then I just get like 3 interviews, and I do like 30 minutes to an hour, like Zoom call.
Right. Okay, cool. One thing I've done, recently to try to identify, the right people is to create like skill tests.
True.
So before even having an interview with them, I send them. It's done with an automatic system that I developed, that my partner and I developed.
Wow.
It sends skill tests. So great. Basically, they reply to us with the answer to the skill test, and which is something very much related to what they're going to do later on in their actual job if they were hired.
Okay.
Right. That's something I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't. Well, you finished saying.
Yeah. No. Well, but one of the challenge I found is that like you mentioned, is the some of these A players, they feel they're too good to apply, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I notice is maybe you find the best people maybe through like your network, or maybe through like some events, like real life events, or some other way. But these people generally, they're already busy because they're good, they're busy already, so they don't even look at this job posting. They're not looking for a job. So you need to do more like headhunting kind of thing, like stealing from other companies.
I mean
that's kind of level 2 though, right?
Lately, I mean, there's so much to this answer, but I do have a jobs portal now, and we are trying to get inbound. We get inbound.
You have your own job portal?
Yeah.
Oh my, this is a higher level.
I'm not trying to show off, but of course,
it's higher level.
The job sites, But actually, even our HR, she goes to Facebook groups now.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't even sometimes use the job post. And then you got me thinking about another tool. I sometimes use it, Vervo. You ever heard of this? VERVOE.com.
Verbo.
It's like a Kanban Trello for job applicants. So you can actually have them go through a series of questions, like skill tests you maybe think of, and they can actually have them respond in video or text, or even like code. If I don't do much developer hiring.
Okay.
And then it's automated. You see I've watched their videos.
Nice.
And then you can drag and drop. Because of I've had some that get upset at me or our company because we don't reply to them after they applied.
Yeah, but sometimes there's so many.
It's just hard.
It's hard.
I mean, it's not like intentional, but so you can drag and drop in this kind of Trello board, and it can trigger an email. So it says, dear applicant, or dear, actually first name, right? We are pleased to say you made it to the next round, or you're in the stage of being discussed internally. You can have different stages and trigger emails. And then if you're rejected, it says, sorry, you're rejected. But at least they get that notification. You can kind of drag and drop. But I don't use that so much, but sometimes, depending on the job we're hiring for.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk about the next step. Like once hired, do you have any like routines or systems that you implement to control the team performance and keep them motivated?
Sure. So we have something called the getting started tasks. We want to call it, I actually want to change that, but it's kind of called getting started tasks. We have a template like Asana or our project management. So we onboard them through our tools, like Google, we got Google Suite or whatever it's called now. We got all the tools, and then it's intense. It's like at least a full day or 2 days of going through SOPs, video training. Some know Slack, right? But I still say, I know you know how to use Slack, but please still go through the 5-minute video just so you don't miss something, because we use sometimes more advanced or features that they don't know. Right. Some of these tools, because some tools you might know already, right? But we try to insist, even Google Docs. Google Docs drives me crazy, honestly, because they don't use the shared folder and they put it in their private folder. I don't know if you know if you have this issue. But,
not sure. They're okay.
Like
not
they put it in their My Drive.
They don't go. Okay.
Well, it's even our company email, but they put it in their personal folder, and then they might share it, but they put share to anybody in the company or share to Mike. I don't want that, man, because it's lost in their folder. I want it in our shared folder.
In the shared folder, yeah.
And that takes I don't know, maybe not an A player, but some people are just not still familiar with Google Drive, which sounds kind of obvious, but the way we use it is somewhat advanced. So they say, oh, I know how to use this. I know how to use this. Actually, the team knows when a new person starts, there's a high chance they're going to not make it. I mean, like the fire fast, the hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
So I was even thinking about not putting them in our Slack, because we use mostly Slack but the team almost knows they might get cut in that 1 or 2 weeks. There's also probation, but like we've gotten pretty good at our filter and our onboarding.
How long is the probation? Usually.
Actually, our HR made it even longer, like 3 months, but it used to be like 1 month.
Okay.
But she's even extended it, says that's normal. It's kind of cool because she's talking to other HRs and like a mastermind.
And during probation is just that it's not confirmed, or the salary is different. What is the difference? So
the probation is I don't know, Snook's here watching me. It's not perfected, but there's some pay, but it's more about like leaving with notice or not. Like they can leave without notice, or we can let them go without notice. But while we don't really have them as traditional employee with a company employment contract, we still treat them as a employee with at least 2-week notice or such.
Like kind of freelance.
Even if they're a freelancer, we don't want to we want to be more like, we really want to build a culture that's not like cold. I don't want to make a company cold culture where they're just. It's actually, I only worked at one big company, but they would fire somebody. You would just put a box on your desk when they pull you into the office, fire you, and then go back and fill your desk and leave. It's like, I don't want to have that culture. Like I want to have more of, maybe it's also Asia culture, but so the big one is they get a notice if we let them go. Their downsides, we give them a notice. And there's some pay increase and some other perks. And there's also paid time off, sick leave, things like that.
Right. Okay. I want to talk about something related to that, which is, the systems of incentives, which I think, it's very important to keep people and to grow, the higher positions, especially, right? Do you have any recommendations on how to set that up?
I'm still
Learning
that was
also.
I feel like everybody's still
Yeah,
that's like
it's very
so
difficult
hard.
to.
I don't have an exact formula, but one thing is, of course people leave quickly, but we try to show people that others stay a long time to give the others hope that they can grow, and they see them growing in the company.
Mhm.
Like we try to grow from inside rather than hire somebody, putting them above.
Yeah.
So they see that even if it's not them growing, but we want to build a company of leadership. We really try to say we want everybody to be a leader, even if you're a new hire. We don't want followers. There's a book, John Maxwell, about leadership. One other tip is I hired, a lot of my team is based in the Philippines. I hired a Filipino consultant for HR, not really HR, but leadership. She's a John Maxwell consultant, Jeanette Terral, and I paid her on a monthly retainer for calls with not just me, but calls with my team and more my management. And that actually was really helpful too. But back to the incentives, I do want to have a more structured system, but it's not exactly structured. But of course, there's raises and there's promotions. Like our general manager just left, LJ. She's still advising part-time, but she's very religious. So she joined her church as the pastor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was an opportunity that she really, it's her calling. And
it's been a surprise.
It was a little bit sad. I mean, we met, but she's still an advisor, but we had to basically upgrade a general manager, which is Anne. And of course she gets pay raise and some more benefits, and we're bringing others up. Okay. But we try to show that people are moving up. Right. We don't have an exact formula. I know some people have this, like, you work here this long, this much, this long, this much. Yeah. There's another person on our team. He's going to be a shareholder in one of the projects. Right. I really want to build. I don't know. I actually, it's kind of become my favorite thing, is to find good people. Right. and find what's good about them and let them, because it's just finding that in them. It's like my favorite thing. Yeah. I guess maybe I should be an investor or something, because I think it's what investors do. But I feel like that's what you're doing with your team. You're finding that good person, and you're half the time, especially Asians, like Filipinos or Chinese, they're or maybe Thai, they're shy because their society doesn't let them kind of like grow. They kind of, I don't know how to they're shy because I think their families and their teachers were not like encouraging them to take a risk, to make a mistake. So I really try hard to not discourage them if they make a mistake. And of course, it's annoying if they break something or delete something. But I of course, if they do it too many times, but we try to let them grow. We want to encourage them to grow. And we want to, I actually, I try to empower them, but I don't have like an exact scaling system, this amount of time. Or of course, if they get a new position that's like management, they'll get a higher raise and we'll negotiate a bit. We don't have like fixed. Right.
Yeah, I love that, because that's kind of the main trait of leaders. What you always hear, like nurturing people, finding people. Yeah. So you're doing well. I mean, on that aspect, you're kind of developing this like leadership skills of yourself. So definitely like a great skill.
It's maybe it's just I like that point. I love this topic, but the mindset shift for me was, somebody read it. I read a lot of management books and leadership books, but they says they don't work for you, you work for them. The bad boss thinks this guy but they have so many choices. Like you said, they can leave, they can get a job pretty easily. So you got to be more like coaching them, nurturing them, encouraging them, building them, rather than you work for me, you had to listen to me. It's like, actually, I will feel like I have responsibility to make sure I provide the environment, the culture, the systems.
Right. Yeah, I love that vision. Cool. Okay. I think, because you own 4 Amazon brands, right? Plus another business. So I think your structure might be very interesting to some people. So maybe can you share more about like who is on top, or like how our roles are divided, and what are the responsibilities with each other? So because I think many people can get some inspiration through your structure.
Sure. I mean, it's complex, and there might be a template you can give that's not totally perfect and matching what I'm going to share. But I do a lot of Google drawings because I can just free flow draw boxes and charts. But these are all been kind of built during coronavirus, because I sold a brand around 2019,
Okay.
and then had no brand, not selling, and all 4 brands are different partners.
Oh.
Yeah, and different share structures.
Wow.
And
Okay.
different companies.
Okay.
And some are very early, honestly. Some are maybe a year old. One I partnered with that was already selling in 2017. But it's very complex. But the way I structured it is our team. I guess it's not a big secret, but my corporate company is Shadstone. I don't know if you know. I don't really It's not like I promote Shadstone, but Shadstone is our corporate company. That's like the team works for Shadstone.
Okay.
Right. And then team, that's like,
that's kind of the holding company, you mean?
It's not really a holdings. It's more like I guess I don't like the word, but it's like outsourcing company, or like a human capital company.
I see.
That's where the people work.
All right. I got it. Yeah.
The people work for this company, and then they contract. They're almost like an agency to the brands.
Okay. I see. But it's your brand. So
yeah,
it's kind of just the way you structured it.
So
okay.
Basically the people work for Shadstone, and we have the contract with Shadstone. And then during COVID, I doubled down a lot. Like I said, I hired a Filipino consultant, got HR. But basically I started calling them ninjas.
Okay.
And then the key slot, and I started thinking of the culture, right? And then you're a ninja, because actually we do so many things. So the team actually is working for the different brands. It's almost like, like we're kind of like outsourcing our agency to ourselves.
Right. Okay.
And then we make even invoices. Actually, the financials, don't ask me. Accounting is very complicated.
Yeah, I'm interested to understand, is it the team divided like horizontally, like or vertically?
Yeah,
like
so we
there's
have
a small team
we have
for
like
each
an
brand?
Amazon department.
Okay.
Of course, for the Amazon sellers. And then they are managing all the accounts. And they have sub accounts.
So there's the Amazon team.
The Amazon team, and then there's like
for all the Amazon accounts. Okay.
And then of course there's the partner, right? Which maybe you can almost call it a client, but we're a shareholder.
Right.
And they are also in their account.
Okay.
And then we have like Seller Board. I don't know if you use Seller Board. I like Seller Board software. It's a paid software, but I think I like.
Yeah.
So we have multiple Seller Boards, right? Okay. So we add the partners. Certain people have certain access to Seller Board, but our Shadstone Ninjas have access to all, because we're managing all.
Okay.
And then people have access to different Seller Boards.
Right.
And then we have our content team. Actually, a lot of our team is content. And I had lunch with a seller too that does TikTok. Content is a lot of manpower to create content. So we kind of have our content team, and then a couple accountants, because accounting is that's my weakness. But because it's very complex, because there's our human resources team invoicing to the brands. And then but I guess you would say flat, right? I don't want to make multiple teams for brand, because that's so much work. That's to make a team. So I've kind of made the team its own thing that can service the brands.
Right. Okay. Cool. I think that's a smart way to structure it, because basically you are sharing resources throughout all the brands.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to structure it. And for you guys listening, there is every episode, there is always downloadable material. So in this case, Mike is giving us like an organizational chart of his business, so you can actually see what is doing, how he assigned roles to different people, and you can get inspired by that. So remember, you can download it in our website, thesellerprocess.com, or you will find the link in the YouTube description. Okay. So I have the final question for you, because we're all about optimizing the output with less input, doing more with less. Essentially, that's kind of the philosophy behind this podcast. So what is your best advice to achieve more with less when it comes to building a team?
So, I know it's about SOPs, but to me, it's become culture, because culture and values is even greater answer than SOP, because it's will hopefully outlist you as the owner or the boss, because the answers are answered by the value or the culture. So hopefully the team knows the culture and agrees with the culture and agrees with the values. So I constantly try to bring up the SLOT, the self-learning online work, because we want to work online and have freedom, and we want to have teamwork. So, and then of course, like I answered earlier, like I don't want to make a cold environment where we just fire somebody. Like the team knows, HR knows I'm not, even if someone did something bad, if of course, maybe we can not kick them out and not pay them, but we do what we say, right? And we are, so I think the team will start to know how to answer the problems, even if it's not really been faced before, because they know the values.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
I love
like
that.
Similar to an SOP, but it's like even I think of a more of a higher level way of people knowing how to deal with things.
Right.
So yeah, even if I'm not there, or the ultimate is I die, and the company can exist
continue
without me.
That's kind of I think kind of the goal of every entrepreneur, with a big vision, right? You want to continue, for decades, even after you, right? Yeah, obviously. Cool. Love that answer. Cool, thank you. So before we close, can you share with people, like, how can they find you? How can you help them if they need your help, maybe with setting up their team, or if you offer that kind of service, like share your contact.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not providing services at the moment. I sometimes get requests, but for now I'm focus mostly on our own brands. Maybe if people want to work with us, or sometimes we might add another brand through partnering, but 4 is kind of enough, but maybe there's some deals where we can make some kind of deal to partner with the brand. But the easier one is come to our cross-border summit. It's going to be in Chiang Mai in November 16th, 17th, 2023. Nice. You'll meet me and some other awesome people. It's a very powerful on-site experience. Some of the team will be there that we work with, but of course, other amazing people in the community. And then our podcast is globalfromasia.com, where we talk about cross-border trade and Asia business and e-commerce.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you, Mike.
I really appreciate it.
Guys, go to Chiang Mai in November for his event. It's gonna be awesome. Cool. So guys, remember, the key to success is to emulate the best. So take home the advice you just got from Mike and implement it in your own business. Remember to download the free material that Mike is sharing with us at thesellerprocess.com or in the YouTube video description. And have a productive week. And for now, bye from Chiang Mai.
Take care. Cheers.
Hey entrepreneurs, I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes and building up your team so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.